So if someone listening to us now, and let's say they are starting a consulting business and they want to build the brand connector from scratch, could you give a little more details on how would they select the symbol and images to use?
Great question. So I would be interested in knowing first which category of consulting firm this is. Are they doing supply chain? Are they doing overall strategy? Are they doing M&A work? I don't know what sphere they're in.
Let's say the strategy work.
Overall strategy. So I would start by looking at the competition and seeing what are some of the codes and cues they're using, especially the ones that are the most successful, because it may be possible for you to do like your version of a category driver. Remember that all categories have category drivers and they have brand drivers. And in order to be successful and be in the consideration set, you actually need to hit the category drivers, right? Like, yes, there's going to be what you stand for. That's your brand drivers. But we also need to make sure we just get into the consideration set of the choice. So if they're choosing between 3 different strategy firms, then you're going to want to make sure you hit the key category drivers, even if it's something everybody says, because that's part of just being in the game. Then the question is, what do you do differently that's distinctive? And remember, distinctiveness is more important than uniqueness. You don't need to be unique because the brain is hardwired to connect with the familiar, not with the unique. In fact, we push the unique away. So it's going to be much more useful for you to take an existing idea that exists in people's minds, something familiar, so that's powerful, familiar and powerful and meaningful, put a creative twist on it, and then make it distinctive to your brand. But it doesn't need to be from Mars. It doesn't need to be, something from another planet, because actually people push that away.
And then once they figure out what is the category drivers and what are brand drivers, then they have to think about what images they could use.
Yeah, images and verbal cues. But the images are the ones that you want to choose very carefully and make them distinctive and communicate a lot. So remember that the definition of a trigger gets to be a trigger in our book if it's packed with positive associations. So let's take the snow-capped mountain, which I talk about in my book. The snow-capped mountain is a trigger because I just have to put that little image on a bottled water, and you just look at it and everybody reads in the same things from our brain. It's already been educated by our society, by our culture, that you look at a snow-capped mountain and you know that means pure, pristine, untouched by human hands, natural, eco-friendly, cold, refreshing, clean, water from the glaciers, like all these good things. So if I take that snow-capped mountain and I render it in an abstract design with a little orange sunset, which is what the Aquafina bottled water logo looks like, I put that on my bottled water. Now Aquafina brings all those associations to its brand. So you're connecting to something that already exists in the mind. You're riding those existing neural pathways, which are incredibly positive. I mean, the snow-capped mountain is probably the most important category trigger in bottled water. But now I'm making it my own with that distinctive icon from on my package. But it's still a snow-capped mountain. It's just my version of a snow-capped mountain, distinctive. Distinctive, not unique. Throw out the word uniqueness. It's a waste of time. And let's only talk about distinctiveness from here on out in marketing and in strategy.